This is true wilderness construction of a ceiling. The man collected thousands of discarded coconut shells and used them to build a magnificent riverside hut. He even utilized a homemade fishing rod to catch fish, allowing himself to enjoy wild charcoal grilled eels anytime. It's simply too cool for words. One day, Ah Wei, with nothing else to do, went foraging in the mountains for the first time, but accidentally discovered the river filled with all sorts of garbage. This garbage not only clogged the river, but also turned the originally clear water extremely muddy. So Ah Wei immediately decided to stay and clean up the site. He first removed the branches and plastic strips, then piled the remaining coconut shells on the shore. These coconut shells were uniform in shape and lightweight. Once sun-dried, they would be perfect for building a house. After 2 busy hours, the river was cleaned up, and the water gradually returned to its former clarity. Ah Wei then crossed the river directly, arriving at a slope on the opposite bank. Backed by mountains and facing the water, it was the ideal spot to build his new home. So he cleared away the surrounding weeds in a few strokes, then immediately began digging the foundation with a pickaxe. Benefiting from years of experience moving bricks on construction sites, Ah Wei dug up the soil with ease, even when encountering many boulders hidden underneath. This was truly a display of unparalleled skill and perseverance. Next, he threw all the excavated stones into the river. Once the site was cleared, he used the pickaxe to shape the walls and a shovel to level the ground. The foundation had now taken initial shape, but before starting construction, Ah Wei still needed to create a path for access. He dug steps into the edge of the foundation, extending all the way to the water's edge, then found a few large stones to lay on the steps as treads. It's said these stones are quite valuable, weighing 1 kilogram per catty, basically the equivalent of 2 catties of apples. Afterwards, Ah Wei retrieved all the stones from the water and piled them together, then extended the steps all the way to the opposite riverbank, forming a walkable, elevated path above the water. Now his mother would no longer need to worry about him losing his clothes. Ah Wei then went to collect some young, sturdy logs from the surrounding area. He cut them to standard sizes and dug holes in the foundation to insert them as pillars. He backfilled the holes with mud and tamped it down firmly. After that, he just needed to secure the beams and trusses atop the pillars to complete the house frame. Having finished this, in order to restore himself to peak working condition, Ah Wei jumped straight into the river and had a full body cleanse. Next, he went into the forest to collect a large amount of pine needles, piled them together, and set them on fire. After letting them burn for half an hour, he obtained a batch of freshly made wood ash. Then, Ah Wei dug up some clay nearby, mixed it with the collected wood ash, and added a cup of pure natural spring water, stirring it vigorously. This mixture turned into a pile of wild concrete. Meanwhile, the coconut shells on the other side had completely dried out, so Ah Wei could officially start building the house. First, he laid a layer of clay on the ground, then placed the dried coconut shells on top, one by one, making sure to connect each coconut shell with clay, to ensure they wouldn't suddenly come apart. Ah Wei, at 23 years old with years of construction experience, could complete every part of the wall with just a simple gesture of his finger. After 2 hours, except for the door and windows, all other areas were tightly filled with coconut shells. Considering the single slope roof design, Ah Wei built a drainage ditch at the back. He then went to the grassy area by the river and quickly harvested a batch of thatch. These young thatches were perfect for making the roof. Ah Wei brought the thatch back to the site, divided it into many small bundles, and then rewove them together using a special technique, resulting in several fresh wild grass mats. To prevent the roof from being blown away during the peak of August and autumn, Ah Wei used bamboo strips to reinforce the thatch mats. Afterwards, he went to the riverside to carefully select a batch of beautiful pebbles, which he planned to use for decorating the floor. The laying method was simple. He just needed to repeatedly smooth them out by hand to cover the entire floor area of the room. After he finished laying it, the whole house looked much more impressive. Then, Ah Wei used the remaining timber to build himself a bed by the wall. Looking at the size of the bed, it was clear he would be living alone this time. Considering the large temperature difference between day and night by the river and the constant risk of dampness, Ah Wei also built a fireplace with stones nearby. However, the chimney of the fireplace had to be higher than the roof, to prevent himself from being overcome by smoke while sleeping. Next, Ah Wei went to the mountains to collect some bamboo. First, he cut them with a saw, then repeatedly beat them with a stick and hammer to turn the bamboo poles into bamboo strips. Afterwards, he wove these bamboo strips together. Following the principle of interlocking 3s and 5s, he was able to create an airtight door. He then drilled 2 small holes in the wall, passed a rope through from the inside, and tied the door directly to it, allowing it to open and close freely. With that step completed, Ah Wei moved on to solving the food problem. He first went to the woods to cut some slender bamboo poles, then took out the fishing hooks and lines he had collected from the river. He assembled them into a few simple fishing rods, then crushed some snails to use their meat as bait. After that, he was ready to set up his fishing rods. While waiting, Ah Wei prepared some firewood at home and lit a fire in the stove to rest for a while. He waited until nightfall before going to the river to collect his fishing rods. Looking at his catch, the fish were too small to keep, so he decided to release them back to their mothers. He only kept a yellow croaker weighing about 3 catties for his dinner. He first cleaned the fish, then cut it and placed it in the fireplace to roast slowly. Afterwards, he picked off pieces to eat, confirming that roasted yellow croaker was indeed the most delicious. After eating and drinking his fill, Ah Wei filled the fireplace with citrus wood, checked the doors and windows, and laid out his blanket. Then he lay down on the bed and fell into a peaceful sleep.